Who is Aremeyaw Anas?
Well, Aremeyaw Anas is an undercover journalist based in Ghana, but I have been able to work across most of our African countries, and I am basically an undercover journalist. I've gone undercover and played many roles on the continent. I've gone undercover as a patient in a psychiatric hospital. I've gone undercover as a prison inmate in Ghana's foremost prison. I've gone undercover as a female in an orphanage. I've gone undercover as a pimp in a brothel. I've gone undercover as a laborer in a biscuits and confectionery manufacturing company. I've gone undercover as a lawyer in Seychelles Island to investigate taxes and monies that have been paid into some accounts. And I've played many roles as an undercover journalist. That's what I do. Anonymity is my secret weapon, and so I don't show my face.
Why Ghana, Africa, need journalists like you?
Well, you see, the African continent is in a transition. We have a mushrooming democracy, and if there is anything that is needed, undercover journalism is a double necessity, because this is the time that we need to develop as a people. We have issues bordering on the peril of human lives. We have issues of hunger. We have issues of poverty. We are a developing country, and so we ought to be able to tell the story as it is. We ought to be able to give the evidence as it should be. We ought to be able to give the hardcore evidence for people to be able to see. Not only for them to be pleased by what they see, but also to influence and to change their direction and behavior to ensure that there is development in the society.
Name, shame, and jail is your mantra. What do you mean with these words?
Well, the ordinary journalist would be looking at naming and shaming. But like I have always said, my journalism is a product of my society. My people are comfortable with problem-solving journalism. My people are comfortable with journalism that is not just about reading and smiling in your bedroom, but journalism that improves the lives of them. And so I would normally use hidden camera to film a bad guy or bad guys, and then I would collaborate with state security agencies to ensure that those bad guys are arrested. Then finally, I go to the law court and testify for that person to be jailed. Now, this journalism yields results. I've done it over the years, and I can tell you the results are impeccable. Many bad people have gone to jail. The Chinese sex trafficking mafia went to jail for 45 years. Some people have been to jail for 8 years, others have been for 15, others have been for 4 years, and many other people have gone to jail because of this kind of journalism. So the results are impeccable and unimpeachable, and it always has gone down with my people. Maybe this kind of journalism may not be accepted here in the West, but I can tell you it works. And my journalism is not to please people in the West. My journalism is to please my people.
What about the corruption of police or public officers or politicians?
You see, nobody assumes the fact that once you start work, you will cure all the mischief in society. It's an unending battle. We have to keep on pushing the frontiers. The same policemen you see who take bribes are the same policemen who would collaborate and also do good in the society. As a people, we have to ask ourselves whether that means we should stop working. For me, it's a battle that we all ought to wage, and the battle is not about one person. It's about everybody in the society putting his hands on deck and ensuring that we push these frontiers. Now, when you read carefully the development in the West, they've gone through all these processes, and today they have a somewhat good system. There will come a time where no police officer will feel comfortable to take a bribe on the street, because no street hawker or no street pedestrian would even be willing to give that police officer a bribe. That's how you grow society. You have to move, in spite of the fact that people think that the benefits come slowly. We still have to push the frontiers. I can tell you, I remember what my journalism looked like 10 years ago, and I know what it is today. And I can tell you, in as much as people think that it doesn't work, it works. A lot of changes have happened, and I'm very grateful that that is happening.
Since you were undercover, your life totally changed. What do you miss more, about a normal life?
Well, it is, you have to make a decision. And I always say that journalism is a hot kitchen. If you think you can't bear with it, get out. That's the point. Yes, you're going to miss things. And it's not just restricted to journalism. I think that doctors and many other professions also, there are certain things that you cannot do once you assume some of those responsibilities. But you must always weigh the balance and see which one is to the benefit of society. What do I miss? Maybe going out with friends, maybe being able to hang out freely and walking and not fearing that anybody is coming to shoot me. Yes, you miss all those bits, but you weigh all that against the benefit that goes to society. And whenever I look at both, I'm always grateful and I thank God for the opportunity. And also thank the people who have always assisted in making what I do work.
Are you training more undercover journalists?
Sure, I am training more undercover journalists. Even as I speak, there's going to be a first training, a big training of about 50 undercover journalists in Ghana. And I'm looking forward to that program being a successful one. So it is also, it's not about one person, it's to impact that knowledge across the length and breadth of Ghana. And I am praying that over the years we are able to train many more people across the continent to ensure that we replicate this kind of journalism.
You're not only a journalist, but you have a degree in law. This competence helps you in your work.
Yes, I believe that every journalist, you don't need to be a lawyer. I studied law to have a better understanding, but every journalist must know a little bit about media law. Sometimes when I go undercover, I want to ask myself, what evidence do I need to ensure that I have a successful prosecution? And so when I go undercover and I'm dealing with a human trafficker, I know exactly what evidence to fill and what is also unnecessary. That helps me so that when I come out and I go to court, I'm able to show the judge and the lawyers the evidence I put across and why I say that person is a trafficker. And that has helped me put a lot of people behind bars.
Since you started to go undercover, have you gained more respect or more troubles?
That's a difficult question. It's a 50-50 thing. There are a lot of troubles, but those who like the work. But I can say that I have a lot more support from rural areas because people see it as a problem-solving journalism. However, I also know that I have very dangerous enemies around the world and who are always looking out for me, and I look out for them too, so that you keep a balance.
And as the last question, what African journalists and what an African journalist like you can teach Western journalists?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of teaching. I think it's a matter of learning from each other. I have a lot of respect for my colleagues in the West. I have learned a lot. I like their work ethics and discipline and commitment. We just, perhaps all of us must remind ourselves that we don't have to assume that our institutions are sacrosanct and that they don't have troubles. We don't have to assume that our judiciaries and legislatures, because we've taught them over the years or they've been told to behave in a certain way, they are behaving that way. We must ask those probing questions. We must investigate them. I don't recall the last time a judicial scandal like this broke out from my friends in the West. Maybe because they assume that everything is fine. But I'm saying that our responsibility is to ask those questions. We should ask. It doesn't matter. I have a firm belief that most judiciaries and perhaps legislatures are very good here. But that ought not to stop us from asking the real questions. We've got to ask those questions. Else, posterity will judge us one day. They will ask us whether we have been able to deliver the goals and the power that society has given to us. And if we are not able to answer, it means we are losing that very important role that has been given to us as journalists. Today, when it comes to publishing, everybody publishes because of social media. There must be something different that journalists ought to be able to do to make a difference, to let people understand that the mission that we have taken upon ourselves is a call and it's a service to humanity and a service to God.
Thank you very much, Anas.
Thank you.